that used to fund artists directly and state education funding have all but disappeared. What steps would you take to increase and secure funding for the arts, including funding for arts-based development? Would you support increasing and expanding the arts development impact fees that currently are in the C3 district and in public development to fund not just art on site, but art spaces, public arts programming, and maybe even expand the mitigation to citywide large projects? And will you support as the arts component of America's Cup, as we believe, some of us in the arts community believe that there is a mandate to include the arts in these type of public events. And again, why don't you go first this time? 5 minutes with 1 minute follow-up, 2 minute rebuttal, and then flip it.
I'm very much in support and in favor of increasing funding for our arts program. But I think the first thing that we've got to do is that we've got to get an inventory of all of the resources that are available to a variety of different areas. As I indicated, not only out of the general fund, but the hotel tax, other performing arts institutions that we have in the city, both government and non-government, and then also all the different nonprofit organizations that are involved in the arts. And we've got to get our house in order as to what is the breadth and depth of funding for our arts program. And then, as I mentioned in my first answer to my answer to the first question, and then getting that discussion across the board and having a clear understanding of what is it that we want to do, where are the gaps, where are the duplications, and so on. I think that's the first order of business. I think the other is that we've got to, when we're looking at some of the impact fees and whatnot, for me, the impact fees are not about just simply now, well, let's go acquire. Let's go ahead and acquire pieces of art. Let's mandate that pieces of art are placed in new structures, new buildings, and so on. I think part of the impact fees is, what is it that we can do to enhance a particular building? For example, when you look at new buildings that are coming out, one of the important things that we've got to do is that those buildings can be art pieces. How do you make it an iconic building? How do you, through the exterior and even the interior, make it such a architectural feat that it becomes an art statement? And one of the things that, as you all know, within San Francisco, one of our important industry is in fact the tourist industry. And I want individuals to come to San Francisco not to just visit Union Square, not just to visit Fisherman's Wharf, but to come into our city and scour throughout our city all the little nooks and crannies of all the different architectural art pieces that are out there. I want to have neighborhoods to have some of those pieces, and so that we have tourists not only visiting certain areas of the city, but all areas of the city. So I think that it is extremely important that we look at all and every which way that we can generate additional dollars. But again, what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that those dollars are appropriately handled, so that we don't miss out certain communities, miss out certain areas of the city, and then most importantly, looking at how we best use those impact fees. I think the last point would be that I would agree that with the America's Cup, we have now an opportunity to enhance the art in the area where the America's Cup is going to be running and the audience will be visiting. We ought not to just simply have an event such as the America's Cup and then find that at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, we are leaving this venue and nothing else comes of it except for all the trash and all the leftovers of that particular event. It is extremely important that we use this as an opportunity to provide some lasting benefits to the people of San Francisco. And so those are the things that I would be looking at.
Thank you. City Attorney, follow-up?
Senator, one thing, I appreciate all your comments. One thing that I didn't hear you talk at all about, but I want to hear your thoughts on it, is a lot of artists struggle with finding affordable housing. Do you have any thoughts on what we can do as a city to help promote affordable housing for artists?
Well, you know, that is one of our struggle in the city. It's not just for artists, it's for all individuals, trying to find and develop more affordable units. I think the normal strategies that have been used is we go directly to a GO bond. We passed GO bonds in the past. I've supported them. And the problem with the GO bonds is that they are time limited. You know, after you expend that particular those dollars, 100 million, whatever the amount may be, then that's it. I think that we've got to be a lot more creative. And one of the thoughts that I've had is that we ought to allocate some general fund dollars within our budget, and then we would use those dollars to then bond against those dollars and create a ongoing revolving fund for affordable units and affordable development. I think that is going to be a lot longer sustaining, and to that extent giving us a lot more affordable units throughout the city.
That is great. Those are the prepared questions. And now we've got a microphone over here.
I didn't answer the question.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was the, I'm
I always
sorry.
said that. I did it right.
I think it went on. It was a little bit.
I remember the
Sorry about
question. Thank you, Senator. Debra, I want to say you talked a little bit about impact fees and revenue sources, and you know, of course, as I said in the answer to my first question, I talked about the importance of stopping the diversion of hotel tax revenue that has been diverted from the arts over the course of the last number of years to the tune of $20–25 million. And that's something that we have to recapture and make sure that folks are playing by the rules. Now, with respect to the impact fees, I'd be open to amending the planning code, section 429, which talks about developers. Developers in new buildings or additions exceeding 25,000 square feet in the C3 downtown to install artworks. But, you know, it was interesting. I went and I checked. The Controller's Office reports that revenues derived from the fee total about $146,000 over 6 fiscal years. Not a heck of a lot of money, right? Not a lot of money. And there was one developer, not including one other developer, who opted for an in-kind improvement of about $329,000. That was to the San Francisco Museum of Historical Society. The only reason I say that is, irrespective of whether Senator Yee or I talk about our willingness to consider expanding impact fees and doing what we can, this comes down to something much broader. And of course, it's about getting the tax revenue that we need, but it's about the most important thing that I can do, or Senator Yee can do, or anybody else can do to ensure the arts community is a full participant in the development decisions that go on here in the city and county of San Francisco, is to bring an abiding recognition that arts, culture, and entertainment are linchpins of San Francisco's unique quality of life and of our economic development. And that's why structurally, when I talked a little bit about what I wanted to do in terms of merging the Arts Commission and Grants for the Arts, is to have a more unifying organization that can help set and recognize how we can coordinate city policy to make sure that money is being allocated sufficiently, and that you have a coordinated government response to promote economic development and understand that arts and culture and entertainment are vital components of that. I would agree with Senator Yee, too, that as part of that, you have to make sure that you have an ombudsman, as it were, within the office of the mayor that's devoted strictly to this. But it's all about having a structure that demonstrates that you value what it is that the arts bring to the city, to the community, to economic development, and that we're not just paying lip service to it, but we're putting actions behind that. so that you can restructure your governing body so all communities have a stake. And the more that you have all communities having a stake and they're involved in the governmental process, the more you're going to bring a unifying approach to make sure that funding is there. Because we can talk all we want about impact fees and everything else. We need to have as many line items as we can in the budget that show funding that is there and allocated to the arts. And that's why if you go and look at my jobs plan that I announced on June 4th right here in this building, I called about a couple of things. Number one was creating an entertainment zone. I said that the entertainment industry is vitally important and we need to create an entertainment zone so we don't have nightclubs, an entertainment industry that is a vital contributor to our culture be hassled left and right, number one. And number two, while I have said that we can talk all we want about Twitter, and is that going to rejuvenate mid-market? The only thing that's going to rejuvenate mid-market is to create a Market Street creative corridor that once and for all focuses on living up to the promise that we have been debating for generations about examining the closure of Market Street. Stop the little steps and understand that if you want to have a Market Street that is vibrant, it has to be have pedestrian traffic, it needs to have green space, but it needs to be a creative corridor where large and small cultural institutions, nonprofits they're given the ones that are given the incentives to locate on Market Street so we can be what we should be, like the Ramblas in Barcelona, 16th Street in Denver, where you have a neighborhood planning process, a transit process, a cultural and entertainment, a vibrant cultural and entertainment industry that is contributing to the vibrancy of Market Street. That's what's going to rejuvenate it, and that's what's going to lead to a vibrant arts industry here in San Francisco.
So those are the questions prepared by the e-board, but now we would like, if anybody has follow-up